And welcome back. We're going to talk about where we broke off last time, and we're going to talk about PDFs. Not PDFs, PDWs. I'm getting old. Now, a lot of people are asking me, what the hell is a PDW? Personal defense weapon. Okay, usually it comes in 3 different groups, or 4 different groups. One designed specially for it. One is stock pistol. They had several problems with it. It worked, it didn't work. A lot of one-eyed guys. And then we had submachine guns that came out of the whole thing. And then we had chopped down guns, regular full power guns into PDFs. That did not work too well, and a lot of people got really upset. Okay, and then it went back and forth between these 4 groups. Back in the old days, the single action was very popular to put a shoulder holster on it. Okay, it made like a little mini carbine. You had 5 shots. You always leave one chamber empty or decapped so you don't blow off your front of your hand. Only problem is you don't want to stick your hand in front of the cylinder in case you have chain fire. That scared the hell of a lot of people and didn't go further than that. Excuse me. Oh. Keep losing my place. Still taking eye drops, so. Okay, now what we're going to talk about is this one, the Stetson, the big brother to the Makarov, or Makarov. Okay, this was supposed to be a 9mm. Let's see what's the message. I got a comment from Wavepoint Survival. Oh, that's nice. And then, let's see. Yeah, I still got another comment. Okay, very nice. It was featured with a double stacked round. Holds, I forget, 20 rounds of either 9x18 or 9x19. One of the two. One was Pellerbaum, one was the Makarov. And it was more controllable in the Makarov round 9x18 because it's better at full automatic fire. But they had problems with it. Also, they didn't want to have a gun that had dual ammo issues. So it was very short-lived. Another thing is, it's a built. If you look at the structure, it's basically a built-up Makarov. Okay. Now, with all slide pistols, a lot of people had one eye issue after firing at full automatic. You know, eye patches look good if you're blinded by your own weapon. So that was short-lived. And these are types of Makarovs. See, not much difference. All right. It's supposed to be an assault pistol for special forces, police, people, and tanks. Did not fit the job. It was one of the failures. Other types of weapons were tried for these troops, but there was a big failure, so they stuck with the old World War II stuff until about the late 70s, and they got seriously working on solutions. Some of them wasn't too well received by the troops, like the chopped off Krinkakov. Yeah. Chopped down an AK-47 to a little dinky thing, and a lot of people complained about the noise and the backblast when you especially shoot it out of the tank. So that was a big failure. Okay, and then let's go over here. Yeah, let's see. Whoops. All right. Now I'm going to show you a few things on their current operations of machine guns. Some machine guns that the groups are using in Ukraine. Now here's a very popular one with police and I'm trying to think of them. Special forces, mercenaries who could grab it, but they're kind of few, and it's a lot of people want in demand. Okay, that's the latest model. Everybody likes it. You can shoot it one hand, you can dual shoot it. It's smaller than an Uzi. Now, there was a lot of problems with this in the beginning. It took them about 10 years to get everything like this perfectly for the Soviets. I mean, the Russians. Sorry. Okay. Now you can check out Russian Arms. It all goes to their creators. Please check out the video at their channel. And it was designed specially for this. Now, go to that channel and check it out. No, I don't want the flashlight attachment. Okay. Now, before about 7-10 years, they had two types of experimental machine guns that was kind of, how can I say, loopy as hell. Okay, this wasn't back in the 90s. That's the channel we want to check out. Okay. This was its predecessor. Same action, same build. And if you kind of notice, everything was structured, but if you look on the top part, and then you see a Helix magazine, they were trying to outdo the FN90 by putting this one. It was Helix type or rotary type magazine that fits underneath it. And it's supposed to be smaller than a Uzi. Except for one thing, it weighed like a ton. They like the firepower, they enjoy the magazine capacity. That's the armor piercing ammo, which they also had problems with. Okay, they had several problems with this one, and I went back to the drawing board. Good concept, good idea, but it still needs to be proven. Okay. If you carry a cylinder, it's fine. But if you carry like 2 or 3 reloads and time reloading those things, also they had reports on jamming and dirt and mud and moisture. It was suited better for urban operations or special forces operation. The police didn't like it because it was a little bit too complicated. And when you attach a silencer, I missed the point, but go check out that part, okay, at that channel, and you get all the information from there. Okay, that was one of its problems. You could see the early parts for the 2000 and way it's built. Now, before that, they had 2 other guns in the running. They actually had 5. Trying to get this back a bit. Okay. Now they figured out the ammo solution and everything else, and they redesigned it, but more like the old Uzi and Mac-10. And again, they were trying to refigure it out on the stitching and also use polymer grips and everything, and they had serious problems. The ammo worked out great. They finally figured out what they did wrong. And if you look at the tips, okay, yeah, they solved the ammo problem. But if you look at the handgun, they tried again, full automatic, it did not work. So they basically made it into a semi-automatic pistol. And if you look at the shape and form of it, and it kind of looks like a souped up Makarov again. Okay, internally it's totally different. There's still several problems with it. That's why it later on got discontinued and a better handgun was evolved, which was kind of funny. Yeah, that big button back there. Whoops. Now, this is usually in the hands of conscripts. It was cheaper to make, and if you kind of look at it, it's basically a MAC-10 or a Uzi. And it works fine, semi or full automatic. The foregrip had problems. People were blowing off their thumbs and fingers. And so this was, if you see any conscript, they'll have this. A lot of tanker crews complained about this weapon. A lot of special forces liked it, but they had also issues with like this. Okay, they had several problems with this. It looked good on the sales pitch, but okay, if you look at that, that's a little bit too close for my fingers and thumbs I like to enjoy. And to shoot it full automatic with that little stubby thing, I don't think so. You had to hold it underneath it and pray to God you don't blow off your thumb or forefinger. Now, this was very popular with the conscripts because it's cheap, it was easy to manufacture, it used polymers and steels, it was close to third generation based on the Uzi and MAC-10 designs. Only problem was everybody else who needed a pistol carbine type of weapon hated it. It was a piece of garbage. But they built thousands of it and they exported throughout the world, and they also exported to anybody who wants to buy one. Special forces refused it because of certain problems. Police didn't like it. Okay? Trust me. Shooting at a target with an open bolt. Yeah. And tankers complained they couldn't hear after firing a full clip of this. It was a better choice. Everything was common standard magazines, everything. It was still bulky. It wasn't fitting the armor crews. Crews that took it in the new type of armor crews complained they don't have too much room, and the damn thing is built like a pig. All right, that's why they hated it all the time. Let's see if I can get out of that. Tired. Now that's two types. It was funny as hell too. On the pistol when it shot full automatic, everybody was scared because it didn't hit. Only thing it didn't hit was the target at 10 feet away. Remember, recoil, folks. Nobody ever listens to old Uncle Al. Okay, if I get this right. Now this is shooting the Stetson. That's shot, and you know who that is? That's Ian of Forgotten Weapons. Okay, now if you shoot it like that off the shoulder, or well, this part of the arm, the forearm, it's fine. But the trouble was the recoil. Now you have to watch it. I'm going to only show a few minutes of it. Okay, basically it looks like a Makarov on steroids. And you see how far that slide is? A lot of inexperienced shooters would hug the damn thing too close. And a lot of experienced shooters know you have to put your cheek on the little bottom hump, or you go blind because the damn slide slams into your eyeball. Okay, it's controllable single shot, but if you try full auto on this pig, no. Okay, go check out Ian's channel for that. That's Forgotten Weapons. Okay, you can check it out. Like I said, folks, they had really trouble with most Russian weapons. Now, I bring it up. No, it's porn. What the hell I want porn for? Let's see here. No, I don't want submarines. Okay. Now this is Klasnikov group that is kind of, they were going back to the Klasnikov as a cheaper solution. Nobody liked it. Even if it's in its reduced form, if it's in the bag, they still had problems with it. Trying to bring this up. They were trying to do the HPK version of it, their version, using the Kazmonov, okay? But it had several problems. Okay, it was their version of the MP5. And it does work. It works great. But the police hated it and everybody else hated it. It was kind of, look at the size. It's almost like a small rifle. Okay? As a self-defense weapon, it's fine, but people were trying to sell it, and then nobody would take it because there are other options that were better. Now, Cap and Ball shot the old school PPHS. Okay, that's a drum-fed one. That ran until about the 60s, 70s, some places until the 80s as a tanker's gun. Okay, they used it very successfully in World War II. You could check out Cap and Ball's channel at that time. Okay. The only problem with these guns is they kind of go back and forth. What doesn't work? What group doesn't like it? People were complaining. It's like nobody was happy with it. Okay, and a lot of people were arguing it was built for this purpose, built for that purpose. So basically there's like 20 different, from 1980s until now, version of Russian PDW, personal defense weapons. They had some good points and they had seriously some really bad points. Also the cost. Some of the guns were inexpensive, used third generation or fourth generation technology. Some used second generation or third generation combined. There were a lot of complaints because once it hit the field, a lot of people in these forces or units were telling them they couldn't sell it overseas because they could get better guns. It jammed at the worst time. It weighed like a pig. You can't use it in a Soviet, I can't say Soviet, in a Russian tank. because Russians make their tanks small. Now, hopefully they hook up with Japanese and Koreans and they get a tank that finally has a toilet. Okay, folks, that's for the Russian PDW. Please check out these channels that I mentioned on screen. Check into Russian arms. Okay, if you understand Russian, you can figure it out. The PP 2000 or 2010 and further on is a very good machine gun, submachine gun. All right, it's pocket size, pistol size, it fits all the bill it does in the shoulder stock pistol. And yet it fills out all the other three, except for the shortened assault rifle mode. Some of you try to shoot full round AK-47s in that design, and God, that was a disaster. It's like, all you needed is a pistol that shoots a 4-foot flame. Just get a flamethrower. Okay? I'll see you later. You have a nice day. This is a simple chat. This is what they're using in the Ukraine. There's a big mix of personal defense weapons. Anything from AKs to the old submachine guns of the Cold War to all the leftover weird stuff that they're trying to develop. It's a mess. It's a dirty war and it's a mess. I'll see you later, folks. You have a pleasant evening. This is your old pal, Uncle Al. Do something nice for your neighbors and friends. Get to know them. Remember, communication of all parties of concern. You have a nice night.